Hey everyone, welcome back to In the Alley. My name is Cody. Glad you guys are back for another video. Just the one game to wrap up week 4 on a Sunday. Northern Arizona takes on Bay Area. Let's go. Alright, so we have one game for Sunday night. It is our 7:05 p.m. kickoff time, Northern Arizona at Bay Area. And if I sound horrible, I was at a wedding last night, so the grind never stops. We're back here, indoor football, primary focus, but congratulations to the lovely couple if you're watching. Let's talk about our impact players though. CJ Fowler, I have him here as your starting quarterback for Northern Arizona. He did start the first game, their only game that they've played this year, but towards the end of the game, Christian Arambide, which that's how I figured out how to pronounce it, he did get in there for, I wouldn't say mop-up duty, but he got in there to see if there was a spark of offense. So we'll see if he gets the start or if they turn back to Fowler for another game. For Bay Area, it's Josh Jones. He's going to take a little bit of time to get back to what he was for offensive player or offensive rookie of the year, offensive rookie, whatever. And he's looked pretty good, all things considered. A little bit left to be desired against San Antonio, but he looked back to his former self against San Diego. So a pretty good litmus test right here to see which Josh Jones are we going to get. We'll kind of figure that out. Our skill positions, Marvin Kinsey from Northern Arizona. Wranglers actually ran the ball pretty well. I know it's been a couple of weeks, so the memory is a little bit fuzzy, but, there is a couple of botched snaps that, throws turned into fumbles and things like that against Fishers. Overall, the running game was pretty good. Fowler was running really well. Marvin Kinsey was running really well. You gotta see how the passing game gets going. The passing game wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It was serviceable. So Marvin Kinsey is your running back. We'll see if they can establish the run game to try and open up the passing game and kind of go from there. For Bay Area, Tyrese Chambers, amazing catches. He's not wide receiver 1 as of right now, but he is actually making a pretty good name for himself. Everything that they have with Bay Area without having an actual running back, but using Chambers, using Josh Tomas, using anyone and everyone on that wide receiving core, they look pretty good regardless. And I know I say it damn near every preview. I'm not a huge fan of it, but if they win, it shuts me up. So there you go. On the defensive side, Mason Newton, your defensive lineman for Northern Arizona. Simple. Knock Josh Jones out. And what I mean by that is don't actually physically knock him out. Do not get him out of the game. It's horrible. Don't root for injuries. But knock him out to the extent of off of his game. Knock him out of any sort of contention of, hey, we need to make sure that he is not completing these passes. He is not running. Make his feet, don't let him set his feet. So it's as simple as that. We'll see if they can. We'll see how much of a pass rush that defensive line can get, because Fishers was just kind of running all over him, and we have another dual threat quarterback. So I guess knock him out is not the best way to phrase it. It's more like knock him off of his game would probably be the best way. So yeah, I'm not advocating for injuries, but yeah, if you can knock him off of his game, ruin his timing, go from there. He's going to use his legs when he has to, and we'll just kind of see how that goes. For Bay Area defensively, it is Joe Fouché. We're only 2 games into the season. He's played well, but I don't know. Maybe I'm expecting a little bit more of a breakout. That could just be my own personal expectations. But to see how Northern Arizona is going to go if Bay Area shuts down the run game, because Bay Area's defense is really freaking good, as they always are every year, then that leads Northern Arizona to throw the ball. If Northern Arizona is going to throw the ball, you're going to need that secondary like Tyler Watson and Joe Fouché and the rest to really be ball hawks, pick off the ball, swat down passes, jam the wide receivers, whatever you have to do in order to ruin the timing routes and ruin anything of a passing game, really shut down that offense. I think Fouché is capable of that. The rest of the secondary and defense are as well. So I really see Bay Area's defense kind of locking down in this one. Injury report. Nothing to report for either side. Everything you see here has been here for weeks, since we're already into almost the middle of April, and we have nothing here. Now, caveat to this is they haven't updated their transactions page, so this is all kind of subject to change. So just kind of take that with a grain of salt. Game odds for this one. 8.5-point favorites for Bay Area at home, an over-under of 81.5, and the money line heavily juiced -278 for the Panthers. If you want to pick an upset, 225 for Northern Arizona. I do that multiple times a year. Plus 225 to Northern Arizona. So $10 bet will get you $22.50. We are at the SAP Center in San Jose, California. Again, 7:05 p.m. Central Time kickoff on the Indoor Football League Network. And our head-to-head, 5-3, actually, Northern Arizona. Now, that was kind of a few years ago where Northern Arizona was getting these wins, and now all the coaches for Northern Arizona are in Bay Area. So that could actually turn the tides by the end of this season. Their last meeting, Northern Arizona won 47-46, and if I'm not mistaken, that was the game or the second game after the tragic passing of Coach Moran, and they hit a deuce. I think it was Axel Perez hit a deuce, if I'm not mistaken, to tie the game or to take the lead. It was a valiant comeback for Northern Arizona, if I'm remembering it correctly, to pull out the victory and keep their playoff hopes alive at that time. And yeah, it was a really fun game. It was really fun watching that one and seeing Northern Arizona kind of come back in that. So let's go take a look at our rosters, bet and prediction. We'll get out of here. All right, let's talk 25-man rosters as they pop up over my face, starting with the away side. Again, we don't necessarily know who the starting quarterback's going to be. I'm going to lean on CJ Fowler just because he got the start in the first game, but Arambide could be in there as well. Running backs, I do not think Nolan Susel suited up in their last game. It was all on Marvin Kinsey, so we'll see if anything changes there. Wide receiving core, we still have quite a bit of wide receivers. I'm trying to remember who all played in the game against Fishers. I know Elder, Kobe Smith, Deshaun Stoudemire, and I think Jamal Couch did. I think those were your 4 wide receivers. So we'll see if Arlen Bruce or Chris Vaughn get into the game at all, or if they suit up, and see if anyone kind of gets out of the lineup. Offensive line, Atuatisi. I suck at these pronunciations, man. Chris Simon, Jonas Coleman, and Raul Esperance are your offensive line. I know Atuatasi. There we go. I got it. Atuatasi was one of the starters, and I think it was Simon and Coleman were the other ones. I could be mistaken, but again, a little bit of depth in that. On the defensive line, not a lot of depth, though. And this is where Bay Area could exploit it. Darius Johnson, Karan Bolden, and Mason Newton. And then on the linebacking side, Chizzy, I'm not going to pronounce the last name because I've already screwed up another one, Fode Jallo, and Kalen Hicks. And we'll see if any of those guys go down to the defensive line to kind of spell it. Your secondary, Bakembe Carney, Karen Page, Malik Saunier, and Edward McClendon. Your kicker is Brendan Fisher. And again, we don't have transactions up to date right now. I checked as of Sunday morning. I haven't seen anything. So if there's players put on IR, players cut, released, signed, sorry. For Bay Area, Josh Jones is going to be your starter with Liam Thompson as your backup. Josh Tomas, Tosin Oyakonmi, Tyrese Chambers, Trayvon Alexander, and RZ McCorker round out that receiving/running back core because they kind of alternate who gets to be the running back. I think all 5 of them are going to suit up when it comes to that wide receiving core. That's how they've done it, I think, for the last couple of games, so we'll go from there. Offensive line, Christian Coulter, Sidney Walker, Jamie Navarro, Antonio Derry, he just got signed. He was with them, I believe, in training camp. He was one of the last casualties as they try to whittle it down to 25, but injuries and releases, Derry's back on the roster. Delvin Salter also rounds out that offensive line, so quite a bit of depth on the offensive line. And quite a bit of depth on the defensive line, too. Tavon Grant, Jonathan Ross, Morris Joseph, William Martin, and Jack Daly. I don't think William Martin has suited up for a game yet, but the other 4 have. Grant, Ross, Joseph, and Daly. Kind of go from there and see. Daly's kind of been your super sub, as the other 3 have been your starters. BJ Tafalele is your linebacker, and then again, just more depth at the defensive secondary. Trey Meadows, Tyler Watson, Joe Fouché, Shamar Moreland, Frankie West, and Tyrese Wright. And again, I do not believe Shamar Moreland has suited up for a game yet for Bay Area, but the other 5 are kind of those guys. I think Tyrese Wright, or maybe not Tyrese Wright, I think Frankie West has kind of been the super sub in the secondary for them as well. Axel Perez is your kicker, and there we have it. Those are your 25-man rosters for Bay Area, your 25-man rosters for Northern Arizona. Let's go check out our bet, our prediction, and see what we can gather for the rest of this game. All right, bet and prediction here, and I'm going to go under. When I was on Sports Coast to Coast with Alec, he was telling me that Bay Area goes under a lot. They have a strategy. They know how to work it and implement it. Who am I to go against that? So, I mean, honestly, for me, I would also maybe pick the -8.5 for Bay Area. And like we just did the 25-man roster, I have a little bit of concern at the depth of Northern Arizona. If Bay Area is going to run it and run it and run it, Josh Jones, jet sweeps, whatever. I know they do throw it a little bit, but that defensive line, they might need a second defensive lineman to get in there. Otherwise, they're too tired, and we'll see if a linebacker drops down there. Same thing for Northern Arizona's secondary. They only have 4 listed on their defensive secondary. If one of those guys gets tired, is Bay Area going to exploit them, or do you need another linebacker to fit that role? We'll kind of find out. For Northern Arizona, I mean, their offense looks all right. They fumbled a couple of times. They had the pick 6 to Isaiah Reed for Fishers. I mean, there's just some offensive things that they do need to fix. It wasn't all doom and gloom. I mean, they looked all right for their very first game with a new coaching staff and pretty much a brand new roster of, I mean, they've got some veterans, but again, it's a lot of rookies on this roster. So is it something where an extra week of practice of building chemistry can Northern Arizona do what they have to do in order to pull that set upset? I think they need to rely heavily on their running game. And ultimately, I think I said this in their team preview way back in March. I think they need to do, I call it this, other people might call it something different. I call it the boa constrictor offense. And what I mean by that is you waste every second of that play clock or as much as you want and make sure that you limit possessions. You just squeeze the life out of the other team and make sure that offense doesn't come on the field. Caveat to that is you have to convert third downs. And we'll see how well you can do that. You have to convert third and longs. You have to convert third and shorts. You have to convert. You have to keep moving that ball down the field, wasting the time. And to do that, we'll see if Northern Arizona can. That might not be their strategy. However, for me, I do think it boils down to, can you limit Bay Area's possessions? They will take deep shots on you. They will waste time themselves, and they will try and limit your possessions. I expect this to be a pretty fast-paced game in the terms of time will be ticking. Both teams are going to run the ball a little bit and waste some time. So if Northern Arizona's offense can kind of do that, there's a good chance it could be a lower scoring game, which in my opinion gives them a better chance to win. Bay Area probably doesn't want that. They just want to blow this team out and move on as business as usual. So we'll kind of see how that goes. And again, strategies could be different. That's just kind of how I'm seeing the game. So I do have an under here. I do think both teams are going to run the ball pretty well. And my prediction for this one, 31-45. Now, it's a pretty high scoring affair than I personally think. Like, if Northern Arizona wants to win this, they got to win this like 31-28. Then that defense has to step up. And that's where I think Bay Area's got a little bit more experience. They've got a little bit more depth. I think the Panthers take this one. So I do have an under 81.5. That's what, 76 points. So it's still 45-31. It's quite a bit of points. We still hit the under. So that's what we have. And we just kind of go from there. So let's wrap everything up and get out of here. And that is it for our standalone Sunday game between Northern Arizona and Bay Area, the final matchup of Week 4, and then we only have 4 games for Week 5, and all of those are on Saturday. So you get a nice little 5-day break before we get more action. So we got to cherish this as much as we can because we don't have indoor football league football on a Friday or on a Sunday or anything like that for the upcoming week. So cherish this one because we have a little bit of a break. So there we go. Anyway, I'm taking off here, guys. I love and appreciate every single one of you. As always, if you feel inclined to like, comment, share, subscribe, whatever you guys want to do. I'm doing this after a wedding. My voice is shot, but I love doing this stuff because the grind never stops. Also, yeah, I love it. I love it. I love this. I can't wait to watch this game tonight. A lot of good games on Saturday night I need to catch up on. I did watch the Friday night games. Boy, howdy. That Green Bay game, game of the year already. Anyway, I'm taking off here, guys. Love and appreciate every single one of you. With that being said, I will see you in the next video. See ya.